Pig is a global phenomenon with its cute and cuddly episodes. But with fame came a wave of copycats, some so shameless, they'd make even Mr. Potato blush with embarrassment. Among all the bland imitations, one stood out so much it actually managed to confuse even the most die-hard fans. So, do you know which one is the best Peppa Pig knockoff out there? Wolfu is basically an animated ticking time bomb, series, that blew up on YouTube in August 2018. Created by Skynect, a company from Vietnam, it follows a 5-year-old wolf pup who lives in a village that looks like it came straight out of a suburban American movie. And yep, all the characters are anthropomorphic. The show got so popular that there are now over 1,000 episodes, translated into dozens of languages, plus movies and a ton of YouTube channels with loads of subscribers. So yeah, like it or not, Wolfu became a near-instant hit as a Peppa Pig knockoff. Kids love it, but Peppa fans, not so much. And as for the creators of Peppa, they filed lawsuits faster than George Pig starts crying when he loses his dinosaur. And this isn't just a case of light inspiration either. They recreated entire sets. If you pay close attention, Wolfu's house is basically a replica of Peppa's. Same layout, same furniture, same color scheme. Everything is super minimalistic, probably to make, animating easier. Yep, let's go with that. And if you think they stopped there, oh no. They even copied Mr. Bull's wedding to Mrs. Cow from Peppa, complete with a cheesy dress makeover. And just to add a creative touch, massive air quotes here, they changed the characters' fur colors. Because nothing screams originality like colored fur. Out of all the copycat shows riding the Peppa wave, few have caused as much buzz and controversy as Wolfu. So stick with us for another wild video. Similarities. The similarities between Peppa Pig and Wolfu are so obvious, we could list them all day, longer than Daddy Pig's snout. Let's start with the basics, the main character. Both Peppa and Wolfu are 5-year-old anthropomorphic kids living in picture-perfect villages. Peppa started off at age 4 and even had a birthday on the show, so now she and Wolfu are the same age. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe just a bold case of creative borrowing. And it doesn't stop there. They both have siblings. Peppa has George, and now baby Evie, while Wolfu has Lucy and Jenny. Lucy is 3 and Jenny is a baby, but fun fact, he's had both sisters since the beginning. So who copied who? Maybe Peppa copied Wolfu? Yeah, right. But hey, who are we to ruin the fun? Another similarity that jumps out like muddy puddles is how all the characters use super formal names. In Peppa, adults are always called Mr. or Mrs., even Mr. Bull. Same thing in Wolfu. They even call their own parents Mr. and Mrs. Wolf. Kinda formal for people who split utility bills, but hey, different customs. Speaking of parents, Daddy Wolf is a busy architect who somehow still manages to always be there for his kids. Sound familiar? Yup. Daddy Pig does the exact same thing, working in the same field while still finding time to play dinosaurs with George. Mommy Wolf is a florist and homemaker with a sweet and patient personality. She'd probably get along great with Mommy Pig. They'd totally be best friends if they weren't on opposite sides of a courtroom. And no, the copying doesn't stop at the characters. They mimicked entire episodes. There are storylines that feel super familiar, catchy songs you'll never get out of your head, and tons of YouTube clips, exactly like Peppa's content. And to top off this inspiration fest, the backgrounds and visuals are almost identical. Same colorful furniture in the same places, the same easy-to-animate drawing style, and those little moral lessons at the end of every episode. And let's not forget the cutest copy of all, the classic scene where they stick out their tongues when laughing with friends. Looks like the Vietnamese studio didn't quite get the memo about copying without making it obvious. But if you think Wolfu is just a Peppa clone with the same episodes, think again. It has nearly 600 more episodes than our little pink pig. And it even teaches kids about things like proper bathroom behavior. Yeah, it's a weird storyline. But seriously, who thinks of poop becoming a villain? Before you keep watching the best Peppa Pig knockoff, drop a comment down below. Copycat! Best copy? Peppa Pig first hit the screens way back in 2004. Yep, that little piggy's got over 20 years of stardom and not a single wrinkle to show for it. Over all that time, she's won millions of fans thanks to her simple art style, bright colors and those sweet little life lessons at the end of every episode. But with great success, of course, came a crowd of inspired creators trying to ride the muddy puddle wave. One of the strangest cases is Olivia Pink, which appeared in 2009 with 2 seasons based on a children's book. A lot of people claim that PEPPA was actually inspired by that book. So in this case, the plagiarism accusations kind of go both ways. But once the creators of Olivia Pink saw how huge PEPPA became, they decided to jump on the animation bandwagon too. And even though Olivia Pink also features a family of pigs, the style is very different. A unique art design, more muted colors, and way less of that polite British pig vibe. Now, the one that really had zero shame, a little show called Peppa Pig. No, you didn't mishear that. They literally just swapped out the E for an I and hoped no one would notice. A classic example of, yeah, I copied, but I changed the name to cover it up. They didn't even try to hide the fact they just wanted a slice of Peppa's couch. But out of all the clones, the one that truly stands out and sends Peppa's lawyers into a cold sweat is Wolfu. Yep, that one deserves a trophy for best knockoff. The art, the backgrounds, the animation, even the storytelling style, it's all so similar. It could easily confuse any kid watching TV after school. And we're not talking small-time success here. Wolfu became a digital empire with channels in multiple languages, millions of subscribers, and videos with view counts in the millions. By the time Peppa's creators caught on, the little wolf had already taken over all of YouTube. And Wolfu didn't stop there. It launched plush toys, movies, games, and songs that stick in your head worse than gum on your shoe. Honestly, even Peppa, who's often criticized for not having super catchy songs, could be a little jealous. Out of all the lookalikes, Wolfu is the boldest, the most controversial, and ironically, the most successful. Even with serious lawsuits and plenty of plagiarism claims, the show built a massive brand, thanks to persistence, smart marketing, and a young audience that, let's be real, cares way more about cute little wolves than intellectual property law. At the end of the day, it's undeniable. When it comes to knockoffs, Wolfu is the best. But that brings up a tricky question. One even mommy pig might not be able to answer with her usual British charm. Is it okay to reward a copy just because it's a really good one? Whether you're a Peppa fan or Team Wolfu, one thing's for sure. This cartoon showdown still has plenty of episodes left to play out on and off the screen. Lawsuit. In 2022, Peppa Pig's parent company, the Giant Entertainment one, finally said enough and filed a lawsuit against the Vietnamese studio S-Connect, creator of the infamous Wolfu. The charge? Straight-up plagiarism, including copying character designs, storylines, and even causing confusion among viewers who thought Wolfu was an official Peppa spin-off. Spoiler alert, it's not. S-Connect runs several kids' channels, all targeting the same age group as Peppa, and their style is a little too familiar to be a coincidence. In fact, 3 of those channels are verified and have millions of subscribers. With that much visibility, comparisons started popping up on internet forums, and Peppa's creators weren't about to sit there doing nothing. The lawsuit was taken straight to the High Court in London, and even YouTube got involved. Some Wolfu channels were temporarily taken down, leaving the little wolf without his digital playground. But just like any good cartoon character, Wolfu didn't stay grounded for long. The channels came back, and the whole thing turned into a legal drama with enough twists for its own animated series. To make things even messier, in November 2022, the Vietnam Authority of Broadcasting and Electronic Information jumped into the fight. They asked Google to take a second look at the case, arguing that some episodes were being taken down unfairly. YouTube eventually gave in and reopened the Wolfu channels, but a few videos are still offline to this day. The whole mess made it crystal clear just how similar Peppa and Wolfu really are, so much so that many people still think they're made by the same studio. And now this cartoon chaos has turned into a full-blown animated soap opera. We've got the courtroom, YouTube, the Vietnamese government, and a little wolf who, despite all the drama, keeps jumping in muddy puddles, just with a lawyer by his side. Copy or inspiration? This is the million-dollar question. Is Wolfu just a cute little tribute or a full-blown ripoff of Peppa Pig? In the animation world, it's totally normal to see references and nods to other shows. After all, who hasn't winked at a classic? But in Wolfu's case, it feels like the line between inspired by and blatant copy wasn't just crossed, it got steamrolled. The character designs, the narration style, the iconic white background, and even the sound effects, they're nearly identical to Peppa Pig. And it doesn't stop there. The family roles in Wolfu are a carbon copy of the pig family. There's the adorable little brother, the older sister, the sweet and patient mom, and the slightly clueless but loving dad, all fitting the same stereotypes that Peppa made famous. Even the moral lessons at the end of each episode are served up on the same colorful little plate. And get this, Lucy's best friend, Lucy being Wolfu's sister, is a piglet named Nancy who causes all kinds of trouble whenever she appears. But somehow, Wolfu always manages to teach both his sister and Nancy a valuable lesson about right and wrong. Of course, some people argue that Peppa's formula is pretty generic. Simple backgrounds, bright colors, and everyday adventures. Easy to copy? Maybe. But when every detail, from the character design to the storyline, feels like it came from a poorly disguised photocopy, it gets hard to defend as just artistic inspiration. And the courts seem to agree. Entertainment One, the company behind Peppa Pig, filed a copyright lawsuit against Connect, accusing the studio of turning a tribute into shameless cloning. In the end, this whole debate raises a much bigger question about the limits of creativity in children's media. When a formula becomes wildly successful, will someone always try to copy it and cash in? Or is there still room for real imagination? Even with so many little pigs and wolves already running around? At the end of the day, Wolfu might be known as the king of copycats, but you can't deny its massive success. Controversy or not, that little wolf carved out a spot in the kids' entertainment world and proved he definitely knows how to grab a child's attention. If you're into Bluey and other fun cartoons, we've got 2 more awesome videos you'll love. Thanks for watching. See you next time.